Grand Ross with The Rock Never Stops. I want to get into these extensions. We got some Pistons talk. We're also going to talk about a little bit of who's the next face of the NBA, this next wave of superstars coming up. But before I dive into all that, make sure you smash the like button for me. Hit subscribe and the bell for notifications. I'm trying to get to the next, what, 3,000 subscribers? I think we could do it. I think we could do it. As we're getting ready for training camp to begin, soon after that, sooner than we know it, it's going to be preseason, and then the season will be here. And I think all of us are excited about it. You know, just to kick us off, what I'm most excited about for the Pistons is just going to be for them to all be together. You know, we've spent so much time imagining what this team would look like with all of them together. And I think that, it's fun to do that. It's fun to kind of project what we think it'll look like when it all comes together, but there's nothing like actually seeing it take form, take shape. Seeing Cade Cunningham with Jaden Ivey right next to him. Asar Thompson running alongside of him. Tobias Harris, the steady veteran, right there with him. Jalen Durant beasting out on the interior. It's going to be nothing. Preseason for me, I just want to see one thing. I just want to see the energy. I want to see the energy of this squad playing together. A bunch of dudes that we've never gotten a chance to see. All that talent. Probably has to be one of the greatest collections of talent in Pistons history. Just pure talent. I mean, we've seen talented players come through with a lot of hopes and dreams, and let's see what Charlie Villanueva and Rodney Stuckey look like, or Josh Smith from Atlanta. Let's see what he looks like with so and so, and even Chauncey, Rip, Tayshaun, Rasheed, and Ben didn't have this much talent. They were good. They were talented. Don't get me wrong. But they were crafty. They were veterans. They were individuals who had already been through the fire in different ways, shapes, and form. Tayshaun was even in an NCAA championship with Kentucky, right? Rip was in UConn doing his thing, had his stint with the Wizards, right? Before making his way over to the Pistons. You know what I mean? It's like Chauncey had been with Boston, and then he went to he bounced around a whole lot of spots actually before he ended up with Detroit. And if you get into the NBA, you're already talented. But let's not pretend like Chauncey is as talented as Cade Cunningham. I don't know if in Pistons history they've had a shooting guard as talented as Jaden Ivey. Joe Dumars was the truth. Rip Hamilton was everything. And yet couldn't do the things that Jaden Ivey is already showing the propensity and ability to do. So my anticipation of this upcoming season is at an all-time high. At an all-time high. And I may even do a video about teams that I'm just excited to see what they look like. Teams that I'm just kind of like itching to see, like, man, what does it look like Jimmy Butler and Stephen Curry with a full season? Full training camp. Right? Moses Moody finally finding somebody who wants to pass him the ball. Because, Draymond didn't want to pass him the ball. Steph, it was a Steph and Draymond show. Other guys just got to, what do they say? Get it off the rim, right? Get it off the rim. You got to figure it out, young buck. Jimmy seems to actually like the young fellas. So I'm interested, not just interested, I'm stoked. I'm excited to see what this team looks like next year. At the same time, we also have some real anticipatory expectations of this team. All of us are expecting playoffs. All of us are expecting home court advantage. And this will be the first time that we're getting to see the Detroit Pistons in this rendition of them. In this era, the Cade Cunningham era of the Detroit Pistons with expectations. And I think that what's exciting to see is our optimism come to fruition? A question I would have for the chat is, what are you most excited about? What are you most optimistic about when it comes to this roster, when it comes to this team? Because for me, if I had to pin it all on one player, I'd probably say Asar Thompson. I think that's been prevalent from my previous videos. But if I had to say one thing that I'm looking forward to seeing, it's just what they look like energetically. Because that's going to tell me more than anything. Like, energetically, you could tell Jaden Ivey and Asar Thompson at the beginning of last season. Sorry, not Thompson. Jaden Ivey and Cade Cunningham at the beginning of last season. We're still figuring each other out. The energy was like, you know, uh, two two young middle schoolers who just asked each other to dance, and they're like, kind of stiff, and like, all right, how do we do this, right? This season, I'm expecting to see mambo, cha cha cha. I'm expecting to see energy, bachata, salsa. I want to see them moving. I want to see them trusting. Okay, hey, you cut this way, I'm gonna go that way. Look for the ooh, hey, there it is. I'm expecting Jalen Duren and Cade Cunningham energy. I'm expecting Asar Thompson with Duren in the post, two-man game energy. I'm expecting Asar Thompson, Marcus Sasser 2 years ago in Summer League energy, where they just seem to know what the business is, what we doing out here. I want to see all these collections of talent come together and look like they not only enjoy playing together, but they know how to feed off each other, because that is the major difference. You could come up with the schemes, you could come up with the game plans, the X's and O's. You can prepare all you want, but if the energy's not right, if they don't gel, if Jaden Ivey and Cade Cunningham don't come together a whole bunch of times this summer and just hang out, just have play dates with the kids, get accustomed to one another, the type of comfort where they can hold each other accountable. Yo, you missed that defensive rotation. Hey, bro, we got to make sure we getting so and so involved. Hey, you got to get off the ball a little bit. Give me a chance to work. It's gonna make it better for all of us. If they can't get that type of chemistry, it's gonna really, it's not gonna bode well for the long-term outlook of this team, because my anticipation of them moving into championship contention, not this season, but the following season, that 26-27 season. All right. God willing, we get there, right? Um, is to say that it starts with their ability to trust one another. That's where it starts. That's where it starts. And the more that they're able to trust one another, the more that they're going to be able to play off of each other. They can pass the ball trusting that they'll get it back. They can move on the opposite side of the action, knowing that they haven't been forgotten about. Right? Guys should, if I'm honest, real chemistry, like my man Andrew Love just kind of brought up. He said Marcus Sasser not going to play. I think he is. I think he is. But I think the rest of this team needs to be rooting for Marcus Sasser, if I'm honest. If I'm honest. Like, they need to be looking at Marcus Sasser like, damn, I hope that never happens to me, where they bring in somebody and now all of a sudden all my hard work is almost for nothing because I'm sitting there on the bench, and you bring in somebody mid-season to play my role. Granted, I get it. I can understand all I want why you're doing it. It doesn't change the fact that I'm early in my career and I'm looking for an opportunity. I expect one, especially after the rookie year that he had. People act like Marcus Sasser didn't have a great rookie year. So when we think about Marcus Sasser has a great rookie year, and then they bring in Dennis Schroeder midway through the season, not to mention Malik Beasley and Tim Hardaway Jr., right? That just completely undermine and circumvent Marcus Sasser's role on the team. Now with those guys moved on, Jaden Ivey, Cade Cunningham, Asar Thompson, Ron Holland, Tobias Harris even, right? The veterans. They should all be rooting for Marcus Sasser. They should all be getting his ear like, bruh, get to work, bro. Get to work. You come up in there, I'm looking for you. I'm looking for you. That's the type of chemistry I want to see, where everybody is showing love to everybody. And I think that they're going to have it. I think that they're going to have it because, one, there's nobody in Marcus Sasser's role. What do you mean it wasn't great? He shot 42%. That's not 42% for a rookie? Shooting 42% for a rookie is great. Not to mention playing under Monty Williams. It's great. No plays called for you. First time in the league. You're shooting 42%. How many double-digit scoring games did Marcus Sasser have as a rookie? Consider most rookies, the majority of rookies, aren't even going to play consistently, aren't even going to see the floor, let alone have 20-plus point games. Marcus Sasser, from my estimation, deserved more of a shot last season. Now, I understand JB Bickerstaff was trying to keep things buoyed, keep things smooth, make sure that, the veterans were ensuring that there's a level of consistency. And because Malik Beasley and Tim Hardaway Jr. were in contract years, there was the major emphasis from both of them to try to play every single game, to validate every reason for teams to resign them. Because if we're honest, both of them were on the outskirts of the league. Yeah, that's horrible. He played for Casey his rookie year. Bro, Marcus Sasser came in with who? Marcus Sasser came in with Asar Thompson. Played under Monty Williams, not Dwayne Casey. That would have been Jaden Ivey. Played under Dwayne Casey as a rookie. Then went from Dwayne Casey to Monty Williams. Monty Williams to JB Bickerstaff. Come on now. I don't mind being called out in the chat. Just make sure you get your facts right. Make sure you get your facts right. If I'm wrong, I don't mind saying I'm wrong. I don't mind it at all. Because shoot, hey, it's just basketball. It's just basketball talk, bro. All that's to say, I want to see this team bring it all together. And it's going to start with the leaders. It's going to start with Cade. It's going to start with Ivy, Asar, Duran, Tobias. Set the tone. You guys know that you're going to get your minutes. You guys understand what it is. All right. Duncan Robinson, Karis LeVert, Isaiah Stewart. They know they're going to get their minutes. The guys that they need to be rooting for is Ron Holland and Marcus Sasser, Bobby Klintman, Tolu Smith. Right? You got to be Chaz Lanier. You got to be looking at them like, yo, hey, when y'all get an opportunity to get on the court, I'm looking for you. Don't hesitate. And that's the type of energy that breeds a winning team. You look at the Indiana Pacers. You look at the Oklahoma City Thunder. Everybody's rooting for everyone. Isaiah Joe comes in, ninth man off the bench for OKC. He knocks down his first shot. The entire bench, starting lineup erupts. That's what I want to see. That's what I want to see. And I can't wait to see it in preseason. Now, I will say this. I will be listening that much more closely to the conversation, the sound bites, the words that are coming out of training camp. Because it's in training camp that you begin to hear the whispers of who came in and looks great, looks ready, looks promising. You get those assistant coaches down the end of the bench and they ask them about so-and-so and you see their facial expression. They're just like, yo, hey, man, he's looking, he's doing his thing. He's doing his thing. And you kind of hear in the tone that they're excited about certain guys. And you hear, other guys that they might be like, oh yeah, he's looking solid. He's still rounding out into form and, working himself back in. You start hearing that and you're like, okay, maybe this guy's not necessarily about to have a breakout type of a year. But my anticipation is that there is 100% breakouts. That these boys is coming out there and absolutely not just hungry, but showing that they're ready to take the league by storm. Because I think that that's the anticipation for us Pistons fans. Angela, what you saying right now? It's crazy how you say 42% is good. He couldn't even play last year when we needed scoring. I think that's a faulty assessment, my man. That's a faulty assessment. Uh, Look at how many rookies shoot around 40 something percent, especially guards that come off the bench in that sixth man role. 42%. Not to mention how well he shot from three as a rookie. I know you're going by what he shot from the field, right? I get it. When you pull up Marcus Sasser, and I keep the stats on me, bro. I keep the stats on me. I'm gonna pull it up. When you look at Marcus Sasser, what he's been able to do, you look at his rookie year, played 71 games, got 19 minutes a game as a rookie. Shot, I could round it up, 42.8, 43%. 43%. But he shot 37.5% from the three on 3.5 attempts as a rookie. If you're trying to tell me that shooting above NBA average as a rookie is not promising, bro, what are we talking about? What are we talking about? Go back and look at Marcus Sasser's rookie year highlights. See what he did. 88% from the free throw line. Come on now. 3.5 assists. Only 1.3 turnovers. Higher than a 2-to-1 assist to turnover ratio. What are we talking about, bro? What are we talking about? He had a great rookie year. Coming off the bench. Off the bench. Just to, let me look at Ron Holland real quick. Let me just holler at Ron Holland real quick. Ron Holland played 81 games, got 15 minutes, 47% from the field, 23.8% from the three-point line. Okay. So you're saying if he had shot 47% from the field and only 23.8% from the three-point line, he would have had a better year? Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're trying to say to me? Not to mention his 3.3 assists, 1.3 turnover, 2-to-1 turnover ratio, assist to turnover ratio. Average more points per game than Ron Holland. Bro, what are we talking about? I get that Marcus Sasser is older, but you can't tell me that he had a bad rookie year. He had an excellent rookie year. Excellent. So I'm looking for him to be a breakout candidate for sure. If you watch my other video, he was number 2 on my breakout candidate list. I think he's going to have an excellent year. I think he's going to come in and be a microwave scorer. And hey, I'm tell you right now, Andrew Love, I keep all receipts, bro. I keep all receipts. I put it down in the notebook. Put it down in the notebook. Whose minutes does he take? I don't think he takes any minutes. I think there's minutes that are just available for him, Ed. I think there are minutes that are just sitting there. Still trying to advocate for Sasser at playing IC. Hey, I am, bro. I am, bro. Hey, you can't tell me that Marcus Sasser ain't good. You know what I mean? Like, when we look at the NBA today, these teams are needing to play 9 to 10 players deep. At least. At least. At least. If you don't have a bench that's deep enough to go 9 to 10 guys deep, more than likely you're going to wear out your starters by the time you get to the playoffs. It's just a necessity. It simply is. And so the onus on JB Bickerstaff being able to maximize all the talent. And I mean all the way down into just in case you got to use Chaz Zanir, because Karis LeVert doesn't really play full seasons in the least bit. You're kind of fortunate if you get 65 games out of Karis LeVert. Okay. Isaiah Stewart, you're kind of glad if you get 65 to 70 games as well. Jalen Durant, he's had some ankle injuries, right? Knock on wood, right? You're going to need guys who could come in off the bench and give you a spark, give you something different, change the tempo, mix it up a bit. That's what you're looking for. I don't understand why Pistons fans aren't excited about Marcus Sasser, aren't optimistic. What has he done to make you not optimistic or not to be rooting for him? That's what's crazy to me. That's what's great. How are you a Pistons fan not rooting for a young player who's already shown promise, right? Who's already had 20 plus point games. Looks like he's an absolute bucket, right? A dog on defense. Why are you not rooting for him? That's the real question. Are you sure you're a Pistons fan? I don't know. You might be a San Antonio fan. I don't know. I mean, we're gonna talk about them and Fox's extension in a little bit. All right. He's a 24-year-old who's a bucket. Who's a bucket. You know why you should be excited about him? The same way the Pacers were excited about TJ McConnell coming onto their team at 165 years old. If he can contribute, if he can effectively be a part of helping your team win, you should be excited about him. Man, it wasn't like he's choosing not to play, bro. See, sometimes if you can't tell the difference between situational play versus not being good enough, I'll give you an example of not good enough. On the Chicago Bulls, Dalen Terry, not good enough. He's not an NBA player. That's not Marcus Sasser, who in the situation he's in after the Detroit Pistons lost Jaden Ivey, needed a primary facilitating point guard. They needed a facilitator, not a scorer, not a bucket, even though personally I think that they did need another bucket and they could have used him. But JB Bickerstaff, leaning into his veterans who are in contract years, that's what you're supposed to do as a coach. If you have veterans in contract years, you're supposed to play. If you don't play them so you can develop someone else, other veterans will look at your team and be like, we don't ever want to go there. Tim Hardaway Jr., Malik Beasley earned the right and how well they were playing to consistently continue to get those minutes. And if you listen to JB Bickerstaff, he repeatedly said, hey, man, it's just a numbers game right now. It's Marcus Sasser, every time he gets an opportunity, he does something good to help us win. Every time he's out there, he contributes to our winning, whether it's getting a bucket, knocking down threes, making a play, fighting on defense. He always does something to validate why he's out there. It's just the situation right now. Right now, we got Schroeder, we got Beasley, we got Cade, we got Tim Hardaway Jr., and that's our rotation. That's coach talk, means nothing. Hey, you know what? Ed, Andrew, I'm taking receipts. Sasser is at the end of the, what are you talking about? I'm a realist. I'm more of a fan than you. Man, hey, you know what? I don't know. What you may call being a realist, you know what? I'm sure if Marcus Sasser was in the building, he was sitting there, and you in the gym, you're in the not the Coliseum, you're in the stadium, and he's sitting there. What you gonna do? Boo him? He's the end of the bench guy. Damn. Andrew Love with the straight hate. Oh, damn. Ooh. Yes, yeah, I keep receipts and ledgers. Facts. I want to see it all. So when he balls out, I'm gonna be like, say what happened? Who was you saying? What was that again? Run it by me one more time. I don't know how you're not excited about everybody on this team. I don't know. I don't know. There's a single player I would not be excited to see succeed on this team. In fact, because of my station as a Detroit Pistons kind of centered channel at the present moment, it is my outlook. It is my job. It is my responsibility to study and get to know each of these players, to track their progress, to be able to project and to analyze how they are contributing to our winning, or if they're not ready. Look, I was the first one 2 years ago when Jaden Ivey was dribbling the ball off his foot, said, I don't think he's a point guard. First one to call it out. I still don't think he's a point guard. And then I saw over time and I was like, yeah, but he's still a hell of a scorer and he's extremely talented. Matter of fact, there's probably not another talent as good as him that we can get out there at that age for that price. We should be betting on this guy. Look how hard he's working. I can acknowledge everything else. You see, you call it realism. I call it being obtuse. I call it having a hard time looking at something else other than just one statistical measure: playing time, minutes. Right? Like, if you can't assess all of a player, all the aspects of a player, what it means to be a successful, especially at the NBA level. Marcus Sasser doesn't lack for talent. He's not Ben Shepherd out there scared to shoot a three in the playoffs, right? That ain't who he is. He's somebody, when he goes out there, he knows what he can do. Yeah, he might be trying to do extra stuff that the coach is asking him to do. Okay, I want you to facilitate, set guys up, set the table a little bit more, swing it, make sure you get other guys involved. Okay, he's trying to do what the coach is asking him to do. But when he gets down to doing what he does, he's a straight bucket. And if you haven't seen that by now, I don't know what to tell you, bruh. I don't know what to tell you. That's just you missing it. I feel sorry for you. You've been missing somebody on your own squad hooping, getting buckets, getting down, doing what he do, getting the boogie. He's doing everything in limited minutes. So I'll leave it right there. I'll leave it right there. Y'all can have it respectfully. Andrew Love, Ed Robinson. Hey, y'all not rooting for Marcus Sasser. All right. I'm on. I'm on. I'm picking him up. Yeah. I got him. Yeah, he saw the floor in the playoffs. He did. He's also 6'6", 6'5", 6'6". So it's a little bit easier to get playing time when they need you at that position. Nah, the entire NBA ain't missing it. Because if you listen around the NBA, if you listen to respected journalists and analysts around the NBA who talked about Marcus Sasser, they all rave about Marcus Sasser. And they go, yeah, he's good. He's a bucket. He may not be a facilitator. He may not right now. Remember, Malik Monk. Y'all look up Malik. I want to show y'all something. A lot of people think Malik Monk just came out of nowhere. Y'all probably remember him from Kentucky. Thing you actually forgot where he started. A lot of y'all forgot where he started. Malik Monk, who was trying his damnedest to get to the New York Knicks in that draft year, got drafted instead by Charlotte. And in Charlotte, he played 63 games as a rookie, got 13 and a half minutes, shot 36% from the field, 34% from the three-point line. Only 1.4 assists. In fact, Malik Monk doesn't cross the 3 assist threshold until he gets to Sacramento. And he averaged 3.9. And then he averaged only about 13 and a half points per game. That was just 3 years ago. Malik Monk played 1, 2, 3, 4 years in Charlotte. Never shot over 43%. That's what Marcus Sasser was shooting as a rookie. Then his last year in Charlotte, he gets to over 40% from the three-point line. Marcus Sasser was shooting almost 38% as a rookie. We already debating Andrew Love. And yet today, Malik Monk is balling out in Sacramento. absolutely balling out. This is what he did last season: 17 points per game, 5.6 assists to 2.4 turnovers, almost about 4 rebounds. Let me see, 3-point percentage. Slipped a little on 3-point shooting, 32.5%, 43% from the field, with about 31.5 minutes per game. Started half the year. Some of y'all might say that Malik Monk was a player that you wanted us to target. And yet we got a guy who's almost doing the same thing, who has the ability to potentially do the same thing. Is he as athletic as Malik Monk? No. About the same height? Yes. Same type of play style? Yes. And you're not rooting for him. That's crazy to me. That's crazy to me. Multiple players see his peers as superior players. Multiple coaches. What multiple coaches, man? What multiple coaches? Man, if you're gonna debate, you got to come with it, man. You got to come with it. But let's move on. I'm excited about what the Pistons are going to do when they get into training camp, when they get into the preseason. I want to see the chemistry. I want to see the energy. I want to see these guys playing together, hooping together, looking like they're rooting for each other, excited for each other, the way that we was cheering for Ron Holland in Summer League. I want to see us cheering for Marcus Sasser, Bobby Clintman. I want to see us rooting for Ron Holland, Tolu Smith if he gets some minutes at third string big, right? I want to see it all. I want to see this team come together. That's what I'm excited for. But let's get into these extensions. Let's get into these extensions. Let's keep in mind Jalen Duren, Jaden Ivey are still waiting on their contract extensions. They may or may not get it before the beginning of the season because both of them look like they're betting on themselves, which I applaud them for. Because if they were to only extend based upon what they did last season, they're probably worth about $25 million. But considering their ages, 21, 22 years old, they know that they're only going to continue to improve. And they're more than talented enough within a year, by the end of next season, to be worth far north of that. Far more than a $25 million extension. This is $25 million per year. I'm going to get into that a little bit more later. Right now, Luca Doncic, De'Aaron Fox, both got extended. I think Luca, we all saw coming. We were like, okay, it's LA, it's the Lakers. They got their next superstar. LeBron's going into, he maybe has, 10 more years. Who knows? It's LeBron. He's probably going to play till he's about 62. You know what I mean? Might have a grandkid up in there. Who knows? But Luca gets his extension. And for the first time, he actually looks like he's getting into the best shape of his life. Damn, talk about the LeBron effect. Kevin Love did the same thing when he came to Cleveland. Saw LeBron and was like, I got to get my shit together. What am I doing wrong out here? This dude is this dedicated to his body. It don't look right drinking a beer after the game and one of the GOATs is doing his ice down routine, ice baths, hyperbolic chamber, eating his prepared post-game snack / lunch, meal, whatever it is, coming in early for extra workouts and stretches, and you out here having a beer after the game. It don't look right. It don't feel right. There's a certain level of accountability when you play with the GOAT. And so Luca got his extension. He looks like he's getting into the type of shape that validates it. De'Aaron Fox, injury-plagued year with the San Antonio Spurs. He gets extended anyways. And for me, I think this was 100% the right move. 100% the right move. This was a deal that said, look, we understand who you are. And we understand what you can be alongside this other dude, Victor Wembanyama. And the two of you can have one of the most lethal 1-2 combinations in the NBA. Considering the talent that they're putting around them between Devin Vassell, Stephon Castle on the perimeter. Then you got guys like Jeremy Sohan, and you still got Harrison Barnes there. And you got, Who else is my other man there? Dylan Harper got drafted there. They have a few other guys. Hold on. I want to make sure I get the full roster down because I actually like the roster. Yeah, they brought in Kelly Olynyk. I like Keldon Johnson as well. Luke Cornett, Carter Bryant, great draft pickup. Julian Champagnie. This squad is loaded. Not to mention our own Lindy Waters. They've got a nice squad. Now they've got a team that's locked in to the foreseeable future. And I think Victor Wembanyama has to be excited. He's got to be excited to play on this team. This is a team that's not only built around him, but it's going to be fast. They're going to play fast. They're going to be fun. They're going to get up and down. They're going to pressure a lot of teams. Right? It's probably one of the few teams that athletically is going to be able to keep up with the Detroit Pistons. I mean, think about how fast that starting lineup is. De'Aaron Fox, Devin Vassell, Stephon Castle, and then you got Jeremy Sohan, Victor Wembanyama. Damn, that's a lot of speed. Then you coming off the bench with Dylan Harper, Kelly Olynyk, Keldon Johnson. Luke Cornett's not the fastest, but you got Carter Bryant still. This team has a whole lot of promise. But let me say this. Whenever we talk about extensions, one of the things that I absolutely hate, and I've said it before, when we're quoting a player's paycheck, and we're not quoting the owners, let me say it again. I hate when we quote a player's paycheck and we don't quote the owners. You want to know why? You can imagine, you can imagine an owner has a team that's worth about, I don't know, let's say 7 billion, 8 billion, 9 billion, 5 billion. And the total amount that they have to pay out in contracts is only about 500 to 600 million. The value of the team, the assets, the real estate, the investors, the retail, tickets vending, auxiliary businesses that support the team, the marketing, the branding, construction, vending, investors. Because there's people who invest in, and then there's also people who utilize the value of the team to invest out, meaning taking out loans to invest in stocks, invest in more real estate. Right? They can borrow against the value of the team. That's billions of dollars. So they're rolling over billions. They're rolling it over, rolling it over. They're maximizing every tax benefit, every investment opportunity. So they're probably making far north of what the actual value of the team is. And then a player. I don't know if y'all caught Stephen Curry's interview recently, where he was quoted around if he feels like he's being paid enough, and I think he says something to the effect that players should be afforded stocks in the business, that they should be given a piece of the team. And I said to myself, why the hell not? He's on point. You know, when the Lakers bought the Golden State Warriors, I think they were valued at 800 million, 900 million, 800, 900 million, something like that. Right now, that team is worth north of $9 billion. There is one player. There was one player who is overwhelmingly responsible for that improvement. Let's keep in mind. Hmm? Huh? I'll let you say hi. My daughter says hi. She says hello to the community. She says hello to the community. Um, there's one player who has been the difference maker throughout that period. Now, it doesn't take away from Draymond Green what he's done. If he wants to get stock shares and if they offer him a piece of the Golden State Warriors, I think they should. I think they should. You know, it was funny because they estimated when LeBron left the Cleveland Cavaliers the first time that their value as a franchise dropped by hundreds of millions immediately. Immediately. Just as soon as he left. And that didn't even account for the businesses that were all thriving off this one man being there. Cleveland. Cleveland. Right now, I'm somebody who can go back. I can name Brad Doherty, Mark Price. Right, I can remember some of these guys. Craig Elo, who played on that team. Ron Harper Sr. Right, the team has had players in the past. They've had players. None of them raised the stock value of that team. None of them. It didn't matter if they were making it to the playoffs all the time. It didn't matter if they were, competitive. Wasn't nobody rushing to that stadium to see Mark Price. They're supporting the Cavs. Nobody was rushing there to see Craig Elo. They were supporting the Cavs. But when LeBron showed up, they came to see LeBron. The NBA came to see LeBron. So when we start talking about players' contracts, when we start talking about what they're signing for, recognize that the impact of them being there, right? Victor Wembanyama, people will go to see him. Why do you think Kyrie Irving continues to get signed? Because people will go just to see him. They don't care about the team he's on. They're going to see him. That cannot be understated. Not even in the least bit. So, shout out to Luca. Shout out to De'Aaron Fox, who got their extensions. Jabari Smith Jr., who got his extension. Paolo Banchero got his extension. Chet Holmgren, J-Dub got his extension. All right. Shout out to these guys. But the NBA has a long way to go before they start talking about equality, equitable. Shoot, don't get me started on the NFL. So let me just be straight up about that. When I see extensions, go for it. Because the value that you're bringing to the overall organization is probably way more than what they're paying you. Way more. The owners know it. The players know it. Sometimes fans forget it. And these ESPN critics, talking heads, they just keep you staring at the players. So you never actually recognize what the game really is. It's called exploitation. With that, I want to get to the last part of this video. The future face of the NBA. The next wave of superstars. I think we've had a conversation for a long time. Paolo Banchero or Cade Cunningham. But the funny thing about it is they're only a year apart. Drafted a year apart. Only 1 year apart, number one picks. But the funny thing is, the year before Cade Cunningham was Anthony Edwards. So you have Anthony Edwards, then you have Cade Cunningham, then you have Paolo Banchero. Anthony Edwards and Cade Cunningham are both only 23 years old. It's crazy. It's crazy. Because it feels like they've been in the league for so long. For so long. And yet, all three of them are undisputed. I would say undisputed superstars. Absolute superstars. And then you have the recent phenom, Victor Wembanyama. Now, as much as I'm going to talk about him, I'm probably going to center this conversation on the other three because they also are the leaders for this next wave of superstars that are from America, from this country. And I'm not a nationalist or I think my country's better than every other country. I've been around the world, bro. Some beautiful countries, bro. Some beautiful countries. I've yet to go to a country that wasn't in itself beautiful. It have its own form of culture, wonderful people, good food. I mean, I've been to some places the food was kind of, it was okay. You know what I mean? Wasn't nothing necessarily to, write home about. Um, thank God for cultures that put spice on things. But it's all is to say is that I recognize that there's a shift that's taking place. Unlike in most other countries, they kind of wait for this wave of talent to emerge, and they have their own developmental systems. Now, some of it is also due to their privilege and access of resources, like in most of Europe and some of Middle East that kind of border Europe. So you have like Turkey and you have Russia, and you have some of these other programs that have pretty strong teams, like Czech Republic, even has a pretty strong team. Lithuania has a really strong international team program, and they develop their talent consistently. They have a farm system. They have guys who are coming up through that system who are always kind of like stepping into that next wave of talent. So they're always kind of like an ongoing development. Team USA has been very helter skelter. Probably the most stability that they've had is under the LeBron James era. From the point that he entered in, where they were trying to get them back on track, but Larry Brown didn't want to play the young guys. And so, okay, they didn't do as well. Following year with Coach K, right? We all seen the documentary. They just kind of balled out. And then from that point forward, the team was stabilized to a large degree. The standard was set, and guys were shooting for it. And the people that they brought in I should say until they brought in Steve Kerr, and Team USA floundered because he, not that good of a coach. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest. In comparison to the world stage, the NBA stage, Steve Kerr is right beneath average. Right beneath that. If I were to say an average level coach is probably like I would say, and when I say average in a good way. Like you can legitimately coach in the NBA. You can coach some of the best athletes, the best talent the world has to offer. You can do the X's and O's, you can do the scheming, you can do the strategizing, you can create a culture, an identity, a system. Um, Shasha, what you doing in there? Oh, okay. Just checking. Hey, dad life. You gotta check on. But it's to say an average coach, I would say, is let me see, let me get his Will Hardy. I don't know if it's Will Hardy, but last name Hardy, right, for the Utah Jazz. I would say he is an average coach, average level, like legitimately, you can coach in the NBA. You can coach there. The head coach for the Oklahoma City Thunder, legitimate, legitimate. I would say Orlando's coach, almost legit. He's just about there. He's just about there. This year is a prove it season. This is a year where they say, like, okay, you can bring us from needing to develop all the way through being a playoff team. That's where I see he's about to prove it. You have JB Bickerstaff. I think he is an above average, just above average. He has some more to prove, but he's right about there. He's about the level of the Billy Donovans, as the I think he's a little bit better than the coach for the Atlanta Hawks. Boston's coach, I think, is a little bit beneath JB Bickerstaff. Uh, but there's legitimate coaches. I'll say Steve Kerr is right beneath the average. He lacks in the schemes. He lacks in the adjustments. He lacks in the rotations. He lacks in the motivations. And as much as he can manage, no. Yes. Okay. Thank you. All that's to say is that's where the instability in Team USA took place in that transition. And so he just, used the best players in the world to recreate the team that he's found success with, which is revolving everything around Stephen Curry. And even then, Stephen Curry struggled mightily in the Olympics at times. He had some really big games, especially in the last game, but it was mostly Kevin Durant and LeBron James who carried that team. Let's be 100% clear about that. And so, despite Steve Kerr's inadequacies, they were able to still play at a high level in the Olympics and on the world stage. But now comes a new era. Steve Kerr cannot be the head coach of Anthony Edwards moving forward in the Olympics in international play. He doesn't have the X's and O's. He doesn't have the ability to work with the young guys. He doesn't motivate them necessarily. He doesn't know how to press the right buttons and whatnot. This whole team management stuff, it's out the window. So I'm interested to see who they bring in as the coach for this team. But it's the players that I want to talk about. It's the players. Between Cade Cunningham, Anthony Edwards, Paolo Banchero. Those three. Those three. It was good, Ace. What do you think Charlotte is going to be in the standings this year? I know it's a bit off subject, but I actually think they will be much, much better than everybody would think. I do too. Because for the first time in a long time since the Kemba Walker era, they've decided to go blue collar. And they've remembered what it actually takes to win basketball games. Not 1v1, not big three, not pickup, but team basketball in the NBA. You need defense. You need guys who can play physical. You need guys who do the little things. You need guys who are willing to communicate well, have leadership intangibles, basketball IQ, and they have turned in that direction. And I think, if I'm honest with you, it is spelling the end of the LaMelo Ball era. I think they're out. I think they're done. I think they're cool. I think, like, hey, we tried it with you. Hey, maybe you figured it out with somebody else. I think LaMelo Ball, even if he turned in an 82 game season and a playoff run, they would go perfect. Best time to trade him. I just do. I just do. I think it'd be like perfect, sell high, boom. And it would be the smart move to do. It would be the smart move to do. What it takes to win in the NBA has been pretty consistent. LaMelo Ball to Lakers. You know what? I could see that. I could see it. I could see it. But under new ownership, I think you might have owners who are probably too smart to do that. But I could also see them looking at the business savvy side of it and say, hey, if we bring LaMelo Ball to the Lakers, we're official Showtime. It's going to be exciting as hell. We got DeAndre Ayton, Luca Doncic, and LaMelo Ball. We got to be thinking about championship. Now you just got to fill it in with a whole bunch of, you know, guys who do the dirty work. But that team could be very successful. Yeah, I could see it. I could see it. But I think Charlotte does a lot better this year. I just don't think that they need one more piece. They need to move on from Miles Bridges. Probably as what's his name, last year's power forward, as he develops. I like him a lot, actually. What's his name? Tijan Shulan. I think as he develops, he's going to be really nice. I like Liam McNeely, too. I thought he was a great pickup. And Grant Williams. Big fan of Josh Green. Yusuf Nurkic, and he's injury prone. They need to kind of shore up that center position. Ryan Cogburn is only going to be able to do so much, especially as a rookie. They need to fill that point guard role position. And I don't know if they found that guy. I had hoped that they would have went after what's his name, who ended up in New Orleans, the point guard from Oklahoma. I was hoping that they were going to go after him, but they didn't. So I'm looking forward to seeing what moves they make. But I think that they move on from LaMelo Ball and Miles Bridges sooner than later and try to reshape the culture of that team. And then they find the right star at the right time. That's why I think this season is going to be for Charlotte. They're not going to get a top 6 seed. No. They're not going to be better than Atlanta. They're not going to be better than Indiana. They're not going to be better than Detroit or Orlando or New York or Cleveland. I doubt that they're better than Philly if Philly is even halfway healthy. All right. Even if they just have a healthy Paul George, Tyrese Maxey, and the rest of the guys, Indy's not falling that far, bro. I'm Telling you that right now. Don't hold water to that. Don't hold water to that. They're not falling that far at all. So I think they have an uphill to climb. I think that they'll climb it some this year, but you know, need this. Okay. All right. But yeah, man. Let me just finish this out. Paulo Banchero, Cade Cunningham, Anthony Edwards. I think they are literally probably the next wave of superstars. You have Luca, you have SGA, you have Jokic. They're right now. Giannis, they're right now. Steph, Jimmy, they may have one last run in them, but they're on their way out. Kyrie, Durant, all of them boys. In the next 5 years, they're all gone. Paul George, Embiid, Kawhi Leonard, James Harden. Next 5 years, those guys are gone. And then you're gonna have SGA and Luca are gonna be the elder statesmen. They're gonna be the vets in their prime. All the winning that they're gonna do is going to be over the next 5 years in terms of championship contention. And so many variables are contingent upon that. What I foresee is the wave coming up behind them has an opportunity to push them. Because when I look at Luca and I look at SGA, I don't see the difference between them and Anthony Edwards, Cade Cunningham, and Paulo Banchero being a large gap at all. I just see experience. I just see teams who have been able to put it together for longer. But I can totally see, as I've been saying, next season, 26-27, is going to be the Detroit Pistons stepping into that championship potential window. The Orlando Magic will also be stepping into that window. Minnesota Timberwolves are already in that window. Well, actually, no. Despite coming close, they are a point guard away. They need a legitimate point guard. They don't have one yet. Until they get one, I just don't see them being able to make a run into the finals. They only get this far because of the greatness of Anthony Edwards. Um, they got to figure out somebody else. The trade needs to happen sooner than later. But I think that those three comparably are not only going to be the next wave of superstars, I think they're also the future of Team USA. Like if I had to put together a Team USA for next summer, right now, playing in the World FIBA Games, right, which is a primary tune-up for the Olympics, I would have to say it's Cade hmm, and Brandon Miller, just because of his two-way potential. Paolo Banchero, Evan Mobley. That would be my starting five. Off the bench, Chet Holmgren, J Dub. Let me get the rest of this roster real quick. I might have to go Asar Thompson. I might even add, I don't know if we could add Amen Thompson to it. Keegan Murray may have to be there. But that might have to be it. Amen, J Dub, Keegan Murray, Chet Holmgren, maybe Jalen Duren. I would put Duren on the team over Walker Kessler. But I would say, let me pull up my list real quick. Oh, Jalen Johnson. Shit. Yeah. Yeah, I gotta add him too. And Jaden Ivey, Jabari Smith Jr., Scoot Henderson, Keegan Murray, Scotty Barnes, Jalen Wells, Dylan Harper, Cooper Flagg, Khalil Ware, Gary Trent, Jalen Suggs, Jaden McDaniels, Trey Murphy III, Casey Wallace, Anthony Black, Stephen Castle, Walker Kessler, Keyshawn George. Yo, Team USA has so much talent in the portal. Guys who would love to have an opportunity, but they're going to have to get a coach that those guys want to play for. That's just the truth. As much as I like Oklahoma City, Mark Daigneault, I think they need a coach who understands X's and O's more. I think honestly, it's overwhelmingly past time. Either Tyronn Lue or Eric Spoelstra gets their opportunity to coach Team USA. They should have been had their opportunity. Been had their opportunity. What the hell are those coaches doing backing up uh, Coach K? Look, I'm not going to say Coach K is not a good coach. I don't really follow NCAA like that, and I get the optics. They wanted a coach. He was a veteran and all that stuff. I get it. I get it. Sure. No way Coach K is a better coach than Tyronn Lue and Eric Spoelstra. It's time that we stop having people of color back up average other people to make them look good. It was insulting. To me, it was insulting. Seeing Nate McMillan and seeing these other coaches who have been around, paid their dues, played at the highest level, backing up dudes who never even played, never sniffed the NBA. Only people that they've shown the ability to work with and help were 19-year-olds. But I guess maybe at the time, Coach K, LeBron, they were able to make it work. He would have played for him if he had gone to college, type of deal. Okay, whatever. Whatever. We all know what happens with most of these college coaches when they come to the NBA. They're not nearly as good. The majority. The majority. You never looked at Coach K's Duke system and been like, man, that would look real good in the NBA. Nah, bro. Nah. Sorry. So, all that's to say, I think the future of Team USA is really bright. I think Team USA, the next wave of superstars, is right there. I also think that some of these guys that I listed potentially evolve into superstars. And I almost need to probably do a video on the guys that I see becoming superstars. Like, can Jalen Johnson become a superstar? Meaning a perennial all star, if not perennial all NBA? I don't know. Chet Holmgren? No. Darius Garland? I think this is as good as Garland gets. Jalen Duren? I don't see superstar. I can't see multiple time all star. Not superstar. Amen Thompson? I can see superstar. Asar Thompson? I don't see superstar yet. Jaden Ivey? Oh, can he become a superstar? When I say superstar, I mean you can go toe to toe in the NBA Finals with another team's best player. That's how I evaluate a superstar. That on the brightest stage, biggest lights, or I should say, biggest lights, brightest. Sorry, biggest stage, brightest lights. You can go toe to toe with the other team's best player, with another superstar. Luca's on the other side. You can go toe to toe with Luca Doncic in the playoffs. I don't know if I can see that from Jaden Ivey. I don't know if he reads the game at that level, but he can have moments. I think he can have moments as long as he's not the primary ball handler and facilitator. If he's in that two guard position, he can have moments. He can have moments where he gets real close. Let me see. Jabari Smith Jr., nope, I don't see him become a superstar. Scoot Henderson, I'm not going to put it beyond him. I think he's going to start this year. He'll have a chance. Keegan Murray, nope. Scotty Barnes, nope. Jalen Wells, nope. Dylan Harper, he's got some superstar written in him. He loves big moments. Cooper Flag, nope. Khalil Ware, nope. Gary Trent Jr., nope. Jalen Suggs, nope. Jaden McDaniels, nope. Trey Murphy, Cason Wallace, Anthony Black, nope, nope, nope. Stephen Castle, superstar. I don't know. We got to see what he does this year. Walker Kessler, nope. Keyshawn George, no. So there's maybe a handful of guys. J-Dub, do I see a superstar maybe in the future? Nah, not really. So I could see maybe Amen Thompson. Shoot, Dylan Harper. Probably only two that I would say, like, for sure I could see becoming superstars out of this next wave class. that's beyond that starting five that I have projected for Team USA. I can see Cade is already a superstar to me. Anthony Edwards is already a superstar to me. Paolo Banchero is already a superstar to me. Evan Mobley, I think he's going to get there. I think over the next couple of years, we start seeing, oh, he's giving me shades of Tim Duncan and Kevin Garnett, the love child between the two of them. I think we begin to see Brandon Miller break out. I think they need to get a better point guard there for him, though. And not to say LaMelo Ball's not talented. They just need a real leader who's willing to play defense, help this team play playoff winning basketball. And I think that he gets there. But I think they got to let go of Miles Bridges, though, also. For Brandon Miller to really emerge. But hey, that's all for today. I'm gonna leave it there. I hope y'all enjoyed the live. If you did, smash the like button for me. I know it's a little late for the East Coast fans. Hit subscribe and the bell for notifications. Trying to get to that 3,000 likes. So not likes. I'm tripping. It's late for me too. 3,000 subscribers. I appreciate y'all smashing the like button for me. It's a little thing, but it's a big thing for the channel. It really helps out. Um, if you can, leave a comment after the video post. I definitely continue the conversation there. I'm going to get at y'all next time. Ed Robinson, Andrew Love, holding those receipts. Keeping a ledger. Marcus Sasser. He's legit. You want me to comment on your comment first? Put Marcus Sasser at the beginning of it. And I'm going to comment on your comment first after I post the video just now. All right? I'm going to get at y'all next time. Peace.